All right, guys, we're going to talk about the microwave. Now, the backdrop to the story, back in chiropractic college, I lived where we went to school. I grew up in Dallas, Fort Worth, actually, and that's where chiropractic college was for me. And so we had a lot of people from out of state. Anyways, I was always the class dog sitter. And so as they went back to home, there was a couple from Michigan, and they're like, hey, can you come over, stay at our house, take the dogs for a walk? I said, sure. And so I get over there, and this is actually at the peak of my sickness, but I was still living off of the drive-thru. So I went and got a bunch of chicken nuggets or chicken strips, and I was like, I'll just keep these, and then I can just heat them up in the microwave, and then that way I don't have to get out. I can just have all my food there. So I bought a whole bunch of chicken tenders, I believe it was. And I went to look for the microwave, and I couldn't find it. And I kept digging, and finally on top, it's the cabinets that were above the refrigerator. The microwave was all the way at the back, and there was can openers and all kinds of blenders or whatever, other appliances in front of it, toasters. And so I thought that was so bizarre. I'm like, why is your microwave so hard to get to? And I finally asked my buddy, and he was like, oh, that's funny. He was like, I forgot to tell you, but my wife, she stopped using a microwave. And I was like, why is that? And he was like, well, have you ever looked at the health risk of it? And I was like, no. And he's like, yeah, it actually turned your food to poison. And so I didn't believe it at first. But I was like, let me look into this. No way. And sure enough, it doesn't take much digging to come across and see there are dangers associated with the microwave, high dangers. And it's not necessarily listed on these 4 reasons we'll review right now. But here's a big idea is normally, I believe, it's your food, anything good, the electrons in the outer shell, the way the molecules spin, it should be to the left. So you see sometimes an L this or an S this or C this, but that kind of denotes more the physics and the chemistry, I guess, behind it. But instead of spinning left, when you put it in a microwave, you get a lot of heat, but it turns it right. It spins to the right. And then when your body comes in contact with something that's spinning the wrong way, it doesn't know who that is, and it can become inflammatory and damaging. Your body basically views it as a toxin instead of food. So that's one of the big ideas, is it just ruins your food as far as your body's ability to recognize it. And then these 4 other reasons here, like number 1, microwaving creates carcinogenic substances within milk and cereals, and actually all of your food. All of your food, it creates carcinogenic substances because of what I just said. It spins the wrong way. And so it causes the wrong response. Number 2 is microwaving your food. You'll lose probably up closer to the 90% of the nutritional value, and especially vitamins and minerals and cofactors and the things that we need. So it's going to denature the proteins in a sense, but you're going to lose the nutritional value that you had. And then number 3, we talked about it, a higher percentage of cancerous cells in the bloodstream. You don't want that. And then number 4, it says the microwave field next to a microwave oven causes an abundance of health problems as well. And we actually had a patient back when I was practicing in Colorado with my wife, and she was one of our close friends as well. And she was like, man, you know what? I felt this buzzing when she would be in the kitchen at her sink. Now, her sink was across the kitchen from the microwave. There's a good 8 feet in between them, if not more. Decent sized kitchen, and she'd be standing there at the bar where the sink is, but she was like, I could feel this, and I couldn't figure out what it was coming from, but every time I came in my kitchen, I just could sense it. Well, she unplugged the microwave, and all of that stopped, and she had other issues I won't get into that were impacted. A lot of brain function was impacted by these microwaves, and you see things 3G, which is ancient now, 4G, and now we've got 5G. So some of these waves and these microwaves, they're not good for us. They're convenient. You get food quicker, but you pay a price for it. So I would question the convenience is one thing, but we have to eat to live, not live to eat, in a sense. You want to do it for nutrition and not for comfort and convenience and flavor as your main things. And so anytime, just warm it up in the toaster oven. Turn it, it takes maybe 5 minutes, so it's not that long to warm it up in the toaster oven, but then you get all the nutritional value. You don't have to worry about the cancer cells. None of that happens from just heating it up. And then the other thing that is super helpful is you can just put it on the stove, right? If it's a liquid, we'll put it on the stove. If it's not, we put it in the toaster oven. And I haven't used a microwave in probably, it's got to be close to 10 years now. Maybe when I've been out and about at a restaurant or something, they would have used a microwave and I just didn't know it. But I've never used one at my house. It hasn't even been plugged in. Gosh, yeah, it's at least a decade. So it's doable. It's doable. And even here at the clinic, we have a toaster oven in the back, and it takes me no time to heat things up. So it's not this big inconvenience. What's the big inconvenience is dealing with the cancer cells that come with it. That's an inconvenience, and it creates this tab, and you will eventually have to pay your tab, right? So don't do that. Don't go into debt. Just stop using the microwave altogether. All right, guys, see you at the next one.